let's talk about another interesting bacteria, diphtheria. So this is the diphtheria bacteria. That rhymes and I like it. It used to be a very common childhood disease historically. Lots of kids used to get it when they were little. Lots died from it. Fortunately, it's not as much of a problem anymore, at least in the developed world, because there are vaccines. Vaccinate your kids. So kind of the symptoms of diphtheria include sore throat, runny nose, difficulty breathing, as well as just overall tiredness, as well as things like fevers and chills and swollen lymph nodes. So kind of how diphtheria works is it is a intercellular pathogen, which means it is inside of your own cells. When it gets in there, it gets in your cytoplasm and stops protein synthesis, and you need your proteins. Proteins are very important in pretty much everything. So kind of how this works is the bacteria will release a specific compound called diphtheria toxin, and that is the thing that causes all of these problems. But what I specifically find very interesting about this bacteria is that it is iron dependent. So the toxin is released by the bacteria when a certain gene is activated. However, most of the time the gene is repressed, which means it is not being expressed and the protein that it codes for is not being made, so therefore the diphtheria toxin is not being made. However, this gene is repressed or turned off by the presence of iron. So iron binds to the gene or binds to something that binds to the gene, I'm not entirely sure, and in doing so, the gene is turned off, so there is no diphtheria toxin expressed and made. However, in a low iron environment, there is no iron to act as that inhibitor, so there's nothing to stop that gene being expressed, therefore the protein is made and the toxin is released. So I just found that very interesting, how just the presence of iron can determine whether or not the toxin is being expressed. So diphtheria is not nearly as common now as it was before, but it is still there, so make sure you vaccinate your kids because there's a very easy and convenient vaccine available.